Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 6. So back at San Diego Comic-Con earlier this year, we got like little nuggets of information in regards to new characters that we would see, or new or returning characters, might I say, that would be coming back for Season 6, as well as a new actor who would be coming in for the new season as well. One of the new characters that they announced was Ricardo Diaz, or Richard Dragon, who at the time of San Diego Comic-Con had not been cast yet, but now we know that Kirk Acevedo will be playing the new villain in Arrow Season 6. And a new actor that was announced for Arrow Season 6 at Comic-Con was Michael Emerson, who is best known for his roles in Lost and Person of Interest as well. Unfortunately, at the time, they did keep it a bit of a mystery in regards to who he would actually be playing in Season 6 of Arrow. But luckily, recently we got some major hints as to who Michael Emerson will be playing in Arrow Season 6. And to be completely honest, like if I'm going to give my honest opinion, it isn't too surprising because we haven't mentioned it in some other videos beforehand. An executive producer of Arrow, who is Wendy Miracle, we should all be familiar with her. Might be a bit more familiar with Mark Guggenheim, but she's the other showrunner or executive producer on the show. Well, she talked to tvline.com. I will leave the full interview in the description below, even though I basically will go over everything from that interview in this video. But essentially, she just went over the more villainous side of Arrow Season 6 and what to expect. The first thing that Wendy Miracle went over and brought up was the confirmation that Michael Emerson would actually be playing a villain, which I thought they actually did confirm, but going back from memory, they didn't actually mention that at Comic-Con, they just mentioned he'd be on the show, so she confirmed that he would be the second villain of the season with Richard Dragon. So yeah, right now we have Michael Emerson's character and Ricardo Diaz, or Richard Dragon, as a confirmed villains for Arrow Season 6, but of course, that could expand as we move closer to Season 6, or once Season 6 starts and we just move further into the season, we could see more villains either appear for the first time, or there could be villains from past seasons that are showing up again. But this is actually what Wendy Miracle had to say about the character that Michael Emerson is actually portraying. The character that we're having Michael play is somewhat similar to people he has played in the past, but we had many conversations with him about how to make it different and what elements we could bring to the character to change it up. Wendy also went on to give Michael Emerson quite the glowing praise, I guess you could say. He is a dream to work with, and I think he's doing an amazing job. We've seen some dailies of some of his episodes, and he's just fantastic. He's a really understated, subtle actor, and that brings a different energy on set. It's great. Now, for those that don't know, dailies are basically like the raw footage. So if I didn't put anything in the background, me filming myself, no editing and stuff like that, that would technically be dailies. But on the show, so they're just filming normal dialogue, the sound might not be that great and stuff like that. The fight scenes might be a bit dodgy and stuff like that. That's daily footage, and I'll look back on that, like the actors, the showrunners, the director, and see if there could be any improvements, whether things need to be changed a bit, they might reshoot it, stuff like that. But as Wendy did say, the character that Michael is playing in Arrow Season 6 is sort of like a mixture of roles and characters that he's played in the past. Now, as I said, I think it is getting pretty clear to a lot of people now that Michael Emerson will most likely be playing Cayden James, the Helix leader in Arrow Season 6. However, it is important to remember that they haven't confirmed that. They're keeping it a mystery. They might eventually reveal that he is playing Cayden James. They just want to keep it a bit of a secret for now. But yeah, but it's still not 100% confirmed. Just keep that in mind. He could be playing someone else, but it does seem that he's most likely going to be playing Cayden James. But let's actually just quickly go over some of the characteristics of previous roles that Michael has played and how they could actually fit in to the role of Cayden James in possibly Arrow Season 6. On Person of Interest, he played the role of Harold Finch, who was, let's just say, very good with computers. Now, Cayden James is regarded as the world's greatest hacker. Now, fair enough, it is Helix people saying that, but you got to remember, he is so good that no one has actually heard of him. So that's pretty damn good if you are doing as much damage, I guess you could say damage, that he is, but no one actually knows who you are. Now, Cayden would most likely use a decent amount of computer and hacking terminology, which wouldn't be too far from what Michael's role on Person of Interest would have had him doing. On Lost, Michael Emerson played Benjamin Linus, who, to put it simply, was very good at controlling events and manipulating certain people into letting things play out the way he wanted them to go. Now, this applies to Cayden as well, as he has sort of done this with Helix. Even though it hasn't been stated, we did get a hint at how Cayden James may have got all of the hacktivists to join Helix, as we saw in Season 5. If you remember, Felicity was almost blackmailed essentially into sticking with Helix for a bit longer, as they did reveal what they knew about her and Team Arrow. While they didn't threaten them with the leak of that information, it did hint that they, do have baggage on all of their members. And if they leave or don't do what they are told, this information might fall into some other hands that the certain person might not want that information to be given to, which in turn is essentially manipulating and controlling their actions. And one more character they could mix into the character of Cayden James that Michael Emerson has played is a character that he played on a show called The Practice, where he played a serial killer, and he also won an Emmy for this role. And no, I'm not saying he is going to be a serial killer. However, Cayden James could possess the ruthlessness and maybe cold-blooded nature needed to be a possibly quiet but threatening villain for Team Arrow. Now, we have actually only seen Cayden James in one episode in Season 5, and it was when he had the sack over his head, which, as I've stated before, was done so they could cast an actor for Cayden James at a later point. But it will be interesting to see why he gets involved again, and whether he's just a villain for Felicity, or whether it starts with her and then spills over into the rest of Team Arrow, and they sort of have to get involved in taking him down. But yeah, just one more massive reminder, I do want to make it clear, Michael Emerson has not been confirmed to be playing Cayden James. However, with all the different information, it did even seem like Wendy was sort of hinting that he is playing Cayden James. It does just seem like this is the character he's going to play. He looks like he could fit the role. You couldn't imagine Michael Emerson as some sort of thug and stuff like that. The role that he seems to be playing is Cayden James. But if you have any other idea as to who he could be playing, fair enough, leave that in the comment section down below, because I'd actually like to see what other people might come up with that isn't necessarily Cayden James based. But at this current stage, I actually think it's a very smart move by Arrow to cast such a strong actor in the form of Michael Emerson as Cayden James. In Season 5, I didn't mind the Helix storyline. I actually think it was decent for Felicity. In regards to the rest of the team, it was sort of just who cares? But it actually gave Felicity something to do, and actually not necessarily gave her a lot of character development, but just, as I said, gave her something to do that wasn't pointless. I actually think it added to the story in some way. So casting a very good actor in the role of someone that's actually very central to the Helix storyline, because he is the leader of Helix, it's a smart move, because it actually might get people more interested in that storyline, depending on how big it is in Arrow. But you would think, by the sounds of it, it's going to be a bigger part in the opening of the season, and it might die off or not be relevant at all in the back half. It might be in that first 6 to 9 episodes that it's relevant, and maybe by the mid-season finale, Helix is taken down or Cayden James is taken down, one of the two. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could leave a like on the video just to show support for the video and the channel as a whole. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of all of this. Do you think that Michael Emerson is playing Cayden James like myself and a lot of other people do? Or do you possibly think he's playing someone else? If you do, let me know in the comments, because I'd like to see what everyone else is thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.